Chapter 14, 55. Victor, translator, Atlas Studios, editor, Atlas Studios. Rong Shin's lingering bit of hope was smashed. Because he knew that the other party was not like him, they had ample stock, and this price would definitely create a huge commotion in the sale of Yergu this time round. I lost this time. Rong Shin smiled bitterly. He had no choice but to give up due to his low quantity. Forget about excuses. Losses were often justified with reasoning, but people in this world did not care about reasons. They did not need your excuses. They only cared about victory or loss. Like what Rong Shin expected, after Fang Yuan lowered his price, there was a huge wave of commotion and purchases. Many buyers started to purchase Yergu. Such a cheap price was rarely seen. If they did not make use of this chance, how could they? Huge transactions were ongoing. Fang Yuan was raking in huge profits, but the other three parties did not follow him. Shibao Shu and Wang Mingyue were hesitant. Earlier, Rong Shin hesitated. It was now their turn. If they followed Fang Yuan and lowered their prices too, their Yergu would be sold rapidly as well. But if they did that, the profits would become too small. It would be far from their original expectations. But if they did not follow him, Fang Yuan would steal their business away. What should they do? The key to this was how much stock Fang Yuan had left. If Fang Yuan had excessive stock, Xie Baoshu and the rest would need to follow him. The market was only this big. There was only a limited amount of demand. The more Fang Yuan sold, the less they would sell. But if Fang Yuan had insufficient stock, Xie Baoshu and the rest would not need to lower prices. They just need to wait. After he finishes his stock, they would be able to sell at a higher price later. Their profits would be retained. They would win this fight after all. Thus, Xie Baoshu and the rest started to think, who was this Fang Yuan exactly? Was he a man or a woman? Was he part of a force or an individual? Why was there no information about him earlier? Why did he appear out of nowhere? They could not understand. He appeared too suddenly. Actually, other than the three of them, the Yergu market had other smaller sellers. But these people were quickly eliminated by them because they could not be the seller now. Right now, those small business owners probably have pale expressions while watching this intense price war. Thinking of this, Rong Shin's mood became slightly better. He was unlucky and would likely be the first person out of this race. But there were even more unlucky people besides him. It made him feel a little better in comparison. But he was just consoling himself. It could not affect the reality of things. No matter how they thought about it, the three sellers could not decipher Fang Yuan's background. To play safe, Xie Baoshu and Wang Mingyue decided to follow after Fang Yuan and reduce prices too until they match him. But Rong Shin did not follow them. It seems that Rong Shin thinks the seller does not have much stock, Xie Baoshu thought. But he did not know that Rong Shin was out of options. He had little stock. If he reduced prices by that much, the heated sales would deplete his stock. He would be out of the competition. He would rather keep his prices and take a gamble. If Fang Yuan had little stock, he would win and continue to stay in this. If not, he would lose. But that was no different from lowering prices anyway. Xie Baoshu did not know about Rong Shin's problem. He felt that he was gambling on Fang Yuan not having enough Yergu. But Xie Baoshu had a stable mindset. He wanted to follow because that was the safest option. As for Wang Mingyue, after some consideration, she also made the same choice as Xie Baoshu. But with her woman's intuition, she had more suspicions. She thought, why did Rong Shin not lower his price? Is he making a gamble? Or does he know the other party's background? Or does he have any evidence or news about it? If Rong Shin knew about Fang Yuan's background, it was possible that he would not tell the two of them about it. He was sitting on the fence and watching. This was advantageous to Rong Shin. Thus, Wang Mingyue contacted Rong Shin and tried to probe him. Rong Shin received Wang Mingyue's transmission and felt helpless about it. He felt some sympathy towards her. Overall, he had a complex emotion now. Thus, the current situation was Fang Yuan, Xie Baoshu, and Wang Mingyue had the same price, while Rong Shin's price was higher than them. At this time, large numbers of Gu immortals started to buy Year Gu or started to prepare to buy them. Everyone was moved. This price was lower than ever before. It was an alluring price. Wait for an even lower price? The buyers shook their heads. It could not go much lower anymore. The buyers were smart, but the sellers were not stupid either. Thus, when Fang Yuan lowered his price again, everyone was stunned. Did I hear wrongly? They lowered the price again? And by such a huge amount? Oh my, what's going on? Is this new seller stupid? The buyers were in disbelief. I do not care if he is stupid or has other objectives. I know that his Year Gu are genuine products, and he is selling at this price indeed. If I do not buy now, I will be the fool. A Gu immortal cried out in his mind, but others were like this too. A huge amount of Gu immortal divine senses or wills surrounded Fang Yuan's stall. The heated scene was unprecedented. Buy, buy, buy. The Gu immortals were filled with this thought. It had never been this cheap before. If they wait until that fool realizes his prices are too low, it would be too late. The buyers felt a strong sense of urgency. What is this person doing? After seeing this, Ji Baoshu lost his cool. If he followed this price, his profits would be reduced to just a sliver. For example, in previous years, if a Year Gu could earn 100 each, if he follows Fang Yuan's price, he would only get single-digit profits per Gu. Why did he spend so much effort on growing vicissitude trees? Wasn't it to nurture Year Gu and earn profits? If he reduced his prices to Fang Yuan's level, his profits would be gone. This price was way below his bottom line. If he had to sell at this price, he would rather keep the goods. But Shi Baoshu frowned. He fell into deep contemplation. At the same time, Wang Mingyue was worried. Her situation was the same as Ji Baoshu. If she followed Fang Yuan, her profits would be unacceptable. But should she stop selling? It was not so simple. If they did not follow and Fang Yuan's stock was huge, the market in Treasure Yellow Heaven would be completely taken over by Fang Yuan. There was another possibility. Fang Yuan was purposely lowering the price as a tactic. It was possible that he had only purposely lowered it this much to probe the other sellers, or to raise his own reputation. If I do not follow, I would be showing weakness, but I can preserve my strength. If I follow him, I would be clashing with that newcomer in a crazy manner. After thinking about it for a while, Wang Mingyue decided to follow him. But at this time, Ji Baoshu had already stopped. The sale price of the Year Gu in the market was lowest at Fang Yuan and Wang Mingyue, followed by Shi Baoshu and Rong Xin at the highest. Evidently, nobody was buying from those two shops. Most of the buyers were at Fang Yuan's and Wang Mingyue's shops. Shi Baoshu was observing the situation. He needed to know if Fang Yuan was putting up a front or if he really had the foundation. Wang Mingyue was very nervous because this sale price was losing her a lot of profits, and among the three sellers, she was the only one left. Rong Xin became the most relaxed person. He was watching them fight. It is about time to deal the final blow. Fang Yuan was very calm. At this point, he had probed the bottom line of these three sellers. Even though Wang Mingyue was still contesting with him according to the usual market situation, the three sellers were about the same level. Even if Wang Mingyue was superior, it was not by much. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan lowered his price again. But this time, he only reduced it by a tiny little bit. However, this small drop in price was like a sharp blade stabbing into the three sellers' hearts. This? Rong Xin turned pale. Ji Baoshu squinted with a dark expression on his face. Wang Mingyue clenched her fist. She gritted her teeth and said in shock, "Why? Why go this far?" Fang Yuan's drop in price was small, but very fatal. It was lower than the cost price of these three sellers. Since Year Gu was being sold, there were costs involved in obtaining them. Rong Xin needed Gu materials. He spent immortal essence to refine them, using Gu refinement methods. Ji Baoshu had vicissitude trees. He also needed manpower and resources. Even though Wang Mingyue could capture Year Gu from the tributary of the River of Time, the method used required immortal essences, and funds were needed to manage the tributary of the River of Time. Selling below the cost price, that would be a true loss. This was a move usually done by those who had a surplus of stock and could not sell them, or if they had an urgent need for funds, this was a desperate choice. If one did this in a price war, the competitors might be fine, but the person themselves would suffer a major loss first. This was too harsh. It was harsh to others, and also harsh to themselves. Wang Mingyue was shocked. She did not dare to follow him. She would be an idiot if she did. This was year gu. The gu was actually sold at a loss. What did that mean? The buyers were shocked too. This price was out of their imaginations. They were tongue-tied, completely in disbelief. But soon the gu immortals present reacted. Treasure Yellow Heaven was in a huge commotion. Countless gu immortals surrounded Fang Yuan's stall tightly. The situation was completely chaotic and heated. This was no longer about buying. They were earning profits. Buying year gu at this price, according to usual market prices, they were buying it at a profit. Countless transactions were undergoing. Even those who already bought year gu came back and purchased from Fang Yuan again. Fang Yuan's business was unthinkably booming. The other three sellers were completely ousted. They were in pathetic states. But at this time, the three sellers stopped being anxious. Who is this newcomer? He is so fierce in his moves, but I am afraid he has messed up now. Observe. I will observe. I refuse to believe that he can maintain the price of the year gu at this low level. The three sellers were waiting for the time when Fang Yuan's losses became too severe. But Fang Yuan could go on endlessly. Because he was using rank 8 immortal gu years flow like water, the cost behind the production of year gu was merely his immortal essence used to activate the rank 8 immortal government. Fang Yuan's production had costs, of course, but his cost was far lower compared to the three sellers. If their cost price was 10, his was only 3 or 4. Anyone could sell year gu. The quality of the goods was similar in most cases. The competition here was really only dependent on their cost. Fang Yuan sold at this price, but he could still earn profits, while the three sellers would sell at a loss. They were unable to sell, but Fang Yuan could dump his stock. The victor of this price war was decided from the start. It was undoubtedly Fang Yuan.